So I will tell you something. I will give anybody who has the perseverance to start a YouTube channel a massive, giant score of A. Every possible thing that could have gone wrong with me trying to do this has gone wrong. But you know what? I persevered, and here we go. Done a lot of things to try and get ready to start making videos, and one thing after another has gotten in my way. Right now, I don't know if you can see her, but my little cat is laying right there in the background, all cuddled up, so it just looks like a folded up or a bundled up t-shirt, but it's my little kitty cat. Her name is Mary. I've been home for a month from my job as a beauty consultant at a store that will remain unnamed for right now, and I have pretty much looked like this for a month. And the unfortunate thing about being married to someone who tells you that you're the most beautiful woman in the world every day is that you think it's okay if you look and smell like this. So I decided that I'm not going to do a full-on makeup demo. I'm just going to try and put some makeup on and maybe even comb my hair. I think I'll start by changing my clothes. What do you think? Okay, so as you can see, I went absolutely crazy, and instead of just changing my clothes, I actually took a shower. That's big news in my house these days. So I'm going to put on some makeup, and just wanting to point out that the cat is now, I don't know if you can see, Mary cat, there. Now you can see her. So makeup. I mentioned before that I worked as a beauty consultant in a store for the last year or so. I also went to beauty school about 1,100 times and have my license in 2 states. I'm going to do some videos mostly about skincare. But for tonight, the first thing I want to do is just put some damn makeup on because I've been looking like doo-doo for the past month. So here we go. Couple of notes about my makeup. When I was younger, I was full coverage, 80s, big hair, full coverage, red lipstick. I don't remember exactly what I used to buy and what I used to wear. A lot of Clinique, a lot of Lancome, because I was making money. But these days, I tend to gear towards, before you all roll your eyes, I'll talk about it in detail, I roll towards e.l.f. Also, I've changed my look a lot. As you know, as we get older, we have to do things a little differently, and we have to put our makeup on differently. Now, the biggest difference for me with putting my makeup on is I have never in my life sat in front of a makeup mirror with lights and my makeup all laid out. I have consistently throughout my life put my makeup on while driving. Yes, I was that person. And also put my makeup on in the last 8 years since I've lived in New York on the subway. I personally entertain the passengers on the subway, but I don't pass the hat when I'm done. But I definitely have a lot of people looking, and I'm wondering sometime if they're like, oh my God, she's going to stick that mascara in her eye, and I'm not sure that they don't want me to. So change in the way I've put my makeup on. 1.5 years, 2 years ago, my daughter-in-law to-be took me out and bought me a whole new bunch of makeup and redid my makeup, and it was very trendy and very now, but it didn't really feel like me, so I didn't continue to wear my makeup. Plus, the store that I work at, since I sell mostly skincare, I actually go to work a lot of days with no makeup on because my skin and its genetics happens to look really good for my age, I think. And I found that I would do better explaining skincare to people when I didn't have makeup on. Anyway, so I'm still transitioning and figuring out my look and how I want to look these days. So what I'm going to do is just do a face how I would sort of do it now, but I've got like some different stuff, and see what happens, because I'm seriously looking to figure out how I really want to do my makeup these days. My whole look has changed. I was in corporate public relations for 20 years. I was always in a suit. I was always nudes, not nude pictures, nude colors. I was always very buttoned up. I was always in suits. But in my youth, I was very punk rock. So I'm sort of like right now trying to figure out what my look in this phase of my life is. Yeah, go on that journey with me. So let me start with some makeup. I'm gonna use some products that I like. I'm not gonna really talk about products too much right now because I am in between, and also because that's a different video for a different day. So one thing I will say is when I was younger, I never used to use primers. I guess because I watch these young girls doing these makeup videos, and you guys really do your makeup differently than we did it. And also, my mom didn't really teach me. I don't know. I wasn't an attractive kid, so I had to really figure it out as I went along. But I will just say, anyway, back to primers. I love, let me rephrase again about e.l.f. I love e.l.f. because it's affordable and I can try different things. But I also love their primers. So that's the first thing I'm going to say. Around the holidays last year, I bought a bunch of primers. I use a couple of different ones, not for any other reason than that's what my hand hits. So I have to put my glasses back on. So last year I got a mineral, the mini size of the Mineral Infused, because I kept buying the like holiday gift sets so I could try all these little things. And also, let me just say another thing. Everything that I use right now is drugstore brand because that's just where I'm at financially. I live in Manhattan so that I can do what I want to do in life, which is another story. So I'm not all designer brands and makeup. I'm going to show you drugstore stuff. I also have this hydrating face primer. Not as crazy about these two. I have the Poreless primer, and then I have the Poreless Putty primer. I actually like both of these, so I'm going to just throw them on real quick. I also am someone who likes to use my fingers for application. Even when I'm doing someone else's makeup, I like to use my own fingers because I find that applying product or even blending product with sponges and beauty blenders, and that may change as we go on, uses up a lot of the product. So I just have to say, I love this primer. I feel like it makes makeup sort of float on my face. So I love it. I don't do a lot of color correcting right now because I find even the minimal coverage that I use, I can get coverage with over. I have some redness and some dark circles. Then I'll use a little bit of the Poreless Putty primer, which is awesome if you haven't tried it. I feel like it just gives me a little more, I don't know. You know what, sometimes I don't even know what I do. I just go along and make it up as I'm going. I'll put a little down here. I also have small pores. I don't have a big problem with my pores. And I'll talk another time about how I take care of my skin. I like to act like I'm this big like skin guru, but truthfully it's my grandmother's genes and my mother's genes. They had great genes, and my grandmother used to always make me drink tons of water. Right now for foundation, I generally like a Physicians Formula foundation, and I've used a lot of e.l.f. foundation. Right now, because I bought them for my kit right before the pandemic, I have a bunch of Maybelline Fit Me, and I don't love it. It's okay. I bought it because I'm able to mix and match and get a lot of shades for my clients. So that's why I have Maybelline, but I'm going to mix and match a couple of things together. I have this, okay, so I had this Physicians Formula product, and it was like a highlighting concealer primer foundation. And I loved it so much. And when I got to the end of it, I'm Scottish, I'm very cheap. I'm sorry if I piss all the Scottish people off, but I drained it into a thing. And then I was using this, and I honestly don't know when I got this or where. So I had mixed them both together. So I'm going to see what this looks like when I put it on. When I apply makeup, I tend, for more for myself. When I'm doing it for a client, I'll use my mixer palette, which is right here, which I mix the foundation. That's like a little painter, that Bob Painter guy foundation, mixer. Let's see, I don't know what this is. I was playing with it last night and I was like, I've literally forgotten since I've been home and since I've been, you know, not really wearing that much makeup, what I do. I put everything everywhere. I'm not fussy. I do like to make sure I end up blended. Yeah, I like this. Wow, what is this? Oh, what do you know? I love Physicians Formula. I've never been disappointed in anything of theirs that I've bought. I just like to blend it in a little bit. It's a little light in terms of coverage. If I was going out or doing something, I can't even remember where I'd be going or what I'd be doing that I would need to have like that face, because my life just isn't that anymore. I did a lot of work as a background actor in television the last few years, and I was on Orange is the New Black for 2 years as a background actor. I didn't wear any makeup. Basically, if you basically washed your face and rolled in, you were set. But a couple of things I've had to look good, but not much, since I've been doing what I want to do, which is messing around. Anyway, a little more of this in here to just get it all together. As you get older, you have to have a lighter hand with foundation and concealer, any kind of coverage. I have a whole range of concealers that I use on my clients, and I tend not to like the sticks for myself, the little lipstick ones. I have a range of these Absolute Beauty concealers because they are affordable, and they were in the store right next to the store I worked in, which will remain nameless. So let me see. I'm going to try a little bit of this. Might be too dark, and see how it looks. It's a little dark. Let's put a little on. Yeah, not bad. Right now I'm on such a nocturnal schedule. I tend to stay up all night and sleep all day. I don't know why that is. That's just where we're at. I do have an e.l.f. concealer palette, and I'm going to apply a tiny bit of it with, I tell you what, I gave my daughter some brushes. I showed her because I have a pretty huge collection of brushes. I have a decent collection of brushes. And I was at her apartment one day and I said, pick what you want. Take whatever brushes you want. And of course she took my favorite ones. Let's see how this looks. That's a little better. My husband and I, we're like on a desert island together right now. And the funny thing is that it's like love between the ugly. He always tells me how beautiful I am. And it's not such a great thing, let me tell you, because you get settled. You get, God, I like using my fingers so much better than, that's what he said. Oh my God, I can't believe I said that. So a little more coverage there. And I guess a little more down here. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, boy, I really shouldn't have put my makeup on the subway all this year. Oh. Okay, so there we go. There's like more of a blank palette to start working with. So let me see. I have to remember how I would do this in what order when I was on the subway or if I was doing a client right now. So I'm going to let that bake a little bit. When I was younger, what I would do is at this point is I would put a full layer of powder on, but I really don't like to do that anymore. It creates too much of a cakey look. The powders that I have right now are really also designed for clients when I'm going to either do their pictures or they would be getting pictures done. And I do a little bit of mixy-matchy. I have an HD finishing powder. I'm not a huge fan of this, but I'm going to put a little bit on and see how it looks. Just to, yeah, my skin is just the way my skin is anymore at this age. I'm not a huge fan of a powder. It definitely holds things a little better, but it instantly makes me look old. So I regret that I even did that. So that sort of solves that issue. I think I'll take a little bit more of that Physicians Formula and just go over it. Let's see. Just blend it in a little more again. I hate that cakey look. The powdery look, like the Driving Miss Daisy look. I don't want to look like that. I want to look dewy. I want to look, I don't know, what do you call it? Young. Not young. I just don't want to look old. Okay, so that's that. Let me see. How does that look? When I was younger, and we would do what you guys or the younger girls call contouring, we would, trying to find a brush that does this. We would mostly just do more of a subtle, like under here, right? So that's a little dark. Let's see. Little contouring. Okay, and a little down here. You know, I definitely had to learn a lot when I was younger with makeup, because I went to school. I was this like poor girl that came from Scotland, and I went to school with all these rich Long Island girls who were all very rich Long Island looking, and I tried to do my makeup the way a lot of them did theirs, and it didn't always work out. So there we go. There's a little contouring for right now. I think I'm going to hit my nose a little bit more with a little more foundation, as I am noticing that it's a little reddish. So we'll just get rid of a little bit of that. I look like W.C. Fields. Does anybody know who he is? He's an old guy. He drank a lot. All right, well, that's a little like, I'm not crazy about that, but we'll leave that for now. A few years ago, I got Bell's palsy, and this eye stopped working as much. And no, I'm just kidding. That's another reason that my makeup look changed, because this eye doesn't always tear properly, and then sometimes it tears a lot. So I really had to change what I wore around my eyes. But I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of a smoky eye look. So just when I looked at myself before, I forgot about my fabulous glasses that I use. Although I haven't used them a lot, and I don't know if any of you have seen these before, but these are fantastic glasses for putting on your makeup. So they go like this, and this eye is what I can now see through to do this eye, and then when I'm ready to do the other eye, I just flip them over like that. I haven't taken great care of these glasses. They're a couple of dollars on Amazon. They're definitely scratched up. But since I'm sitting in front of the mirror, excuse me while I adjust my bra, I thought, let me try and use them. All right, so let's see. Where's my eyeliner? Again, I use a lot of e.l.f. I had an awesome eyeliner from e.l.f. that I loved. It was a very thick lead, and I used to just do that around my eye. It was kind of raccoon looking and a little emo looking, but it did the trick because I wasn't wearing a lot of eye makeup then. So actually I can't see, so I'm gonna take this off and do a little eyeliner. You know, I'm kind of like gorilla with eye makeup. I do use different things in different ways that aren't necessarily for that purpose. See how that looks. That's okay for now. Lost my glasses. How do you lose your glasses sitting still? So on the last, a little while that I was going to work, I started using this palette as eyeshadow. And the reason I was doing that is because I really liked how it stayed on all day. So I will go in and do the top. Obviously I have hooded lids. A little bit on the top, a little bit in there. And this is along the lines of what I would do when I was younger. A lighter color up top, and then down below, a darker color. Now, it looks a little orange in this light, so I guess that means it is. I'm going to go over this in a little minute with a different lower lid shadow. Now, I like this because it tends to stay on, as opposed to a powder shadow, which just doesn't stay on for me anymore. And it also serves as an eyeshadow primer. So that's just what I like. So I can go over that with my eyeshadow palette. Let's see what's over here. Boop. Is anybody watching Schitt's Creek? Everybody's in love with Alexis. All the girls that my daughter is friends with all do Alexis. Love that for you. All right, so let's see. A lot of times when I'm applying eyeshadow, I sort of mess around with the colors. Everything's looking very red. I think it's just because of the light. I'm more used to the subway to provide me lighting. I will show you at some point how to do the hooded lid. I'm better at other people's makeup than I am, obviously, on my own. And that's because my face has changed so much. My face has really changed since I had the Bell's palsy, since I had Bell's palsy, and I got this paralysis. But this is basically what I would ever do to my eyes. I didn't do crazy, I don't like a crazy smoky eye. I just like a sort of blended eye. Quickly about my eyebrows, they're an issue. I have only had my makeup done professionally a few times in my life, and I hated it. Anytime anyone's done my makeup, I've been miserable because they don't understand my face or what it is that I truly want to look like. The only person who did my makeup that I actually liked was my daughter-in-law. I like a darker eye, so just blending that a little bit. Now, I haven't been wearing mascara so much this year because of the weirdness of my eyes, so this is pretty much how that's going to start to look. I'll blend it out a little bit when we're finished. So I haven't been wearing mascara. I had a couple of goes at the fake eyelashes. I would get them, I would practice them at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and the few times that I got them right, when my husband was sleeping. But the times I tried to get them right to go to work, it was a disaster. And then I would lose them, and I would think eventually they were a spider when I found them. So, okay, I will try and put mascara on in a minute. But again, my eyebrows, everyone who's ever tried to do my makeup has gone about my eyebrows in a terrifying way. They've made me look like I had mustache eyebrows. So I don't use my eyebrows as the frame or headline of my face or whatever they call it. I like to just brush them. Occasionally I'll set about them with a tweezer, and that can get really ugly. I have a couple of things I like to use on my eyebrows. One is something that my daughter-in-law bought me. It's a NYX eyebrow, it's like an eyebrow mascara. And it's decent. I like that because it's not too much. I've never been someone who could really figure out what to do with my eyebrows. And I was watching this other makeup artist who actually I heard say the same thing, that she had trouble. I've never seen my eyebrows done and been like, oh my God, that's life-altering. So that's a little something for the eyebrows. They're not my feature that I get all excited about. I just try and do something. A couple of times I've set about them with a tweezer and tweezed them within an inch of their life. But the only way I was able to solve that was to wear my glasses like that. So maybe it's because I wear glasses now all the time, but even when I look at pictures of myself when I was younger, the eyebrows weren't what it was all about. So here we go. I want to tell you something really quickly about eyebrows. As women get older and their eyebrows start to thin out and they're like, oh my God, there's no more eyebrows. The reason for that is each hair on your body has 7 lifetimes or 7 life cycles. through each follicle. So when you tweeze your eyebrows, the reason they thin out as you get older is because they've had their 7 lives, and they ain't no more. So go easy on those eyebrows. This NYX product, the Tinted Brow Mascara from NYX, is actually great. Elf makes one also, but theirs is actually made from human hair fibers. So it's a little something. All right, I don't have a brand new mascara because I haven't been wearing a lot of mascara, but I have this Physicians Formula one that I actually bought a while ago, and I like it because the way it looks. I actually bought it because I like the little high heel charm. I always now use these disposable brushes because, oh, come on, why'd you have to have a hair on you? Because I find that they do such a much better job of applying mascara than the brushes that come with them. So these are just disposable mascara brushes that I bought for my clients. Obviously, for health reasons, you must use them for your clients. They're single use, and I just toss them when I'm done with them. So here we go. Let's see. I think I'll try and use these, my crazy, they're almost like steampunk style. Here we go. Put a little mascara on, not a lot. Just because my eyes are, you know, just funky when I wear it. Again, I've tried the lashes, and maybe as I do these videos, I'll put some more on. But for right now, it's kind of, you know, I just have to have a light touch. When I was working, I would find that when I wore mascara at my store, I would get such dry eye that it was becoming, I actually missed 2 days of work just from dry eye. And because I don't have health insurance right now and I don't like to go to the doctor, I don't really know why I'm getting it. There is a great product that I just want to mention to you, Almay makes. It looks like a Q-tip. If you get a little mistake like this under your eye, you simply wipe it away. Now, when I was younger, I got this tip from Daniela, my daughter-in-law. When I was younger and I would get mascara under my eye like that, I used to always, you know, do this. And when Daniela had done my makeup, she said to me, you don't have to do that. Just wait till it dries. And I used to be addicted to Lancome makeup because I used to know what I needed, and I had a big job back then. I don't even want to get into what it was. And I used to simply run in, go to the Lancome counter and run out, and I'd spend several $100s. And I would just buy new stuff every 3 months. That was my habit. Believe it or not, in my tiny studio in Manhattan, before the pandemic, I used to do hair and makeup and pictures. And once I basically did one last person before the pandemic, and haven't done anybody since, but my kit's still sitting here, all ready to go. I'll show it to you after. All right, so let me see. I'm going to use my steampunk glasses again. See how this looks. I can get some coverage in there. I don't like this brush. It's too yellow. And see, the second I put the foundation, the concealer on, yuck. The colors, the creases come right in. I can't stand it, so I've got to get this off. I'd rather see dark circles and puffiness than creases. It's just, call me crazy. It's like when I had lost some weight last year, and when I lost weight for the first time in my life, I had wrinkles, and I freaked out. That was one of the times I attacked myself with tweezer, because I was like, oh, if I get rid of these extra, eyebrows, then I won't see all these wrinkles. They drive me crazy. All right, when I was younger, my process for doing a lip was intense. I used to put a layer of lipstick on, then a layer of powder, and then a layer of lipstick, and it was thick. Nowadays they make these matte, oh God, I hate wrinkles. I hate wrinkles, but that's okay. It's okay. I own them. I hate powdery looking face. Okay. Oh, but now I'm pretty chill. I had a product that was an e.l.f. product, and it was two products in one container, and e.l.f. is really good at that. But one of the things I didn't like about it is that they would always come apart. Not because I let them roll around in my bag. Anyway, and the product was, on one end was a lip primer, and on the other end was a lip plumper. So this is the primer, but the plumper disappeared, and somehow I managed to put another lipstick in here. So I'm just going to show you what I would do now. It's very rare that I line my lips, although I like to line my clients' lips. I generally, for my clients, what I'll do is a lip liner, some balm, and then a gloss over the top. That's not the way I like my lips to look, but this is generally what I do for clients. So I love the e.l.f. product because the plumper smelled like Christmas tree, and it was spicy. So I'm just going to put this. I tend to do hardly anything more on my lip than a nude. That's about it. And it looks like shit. Yeah. Let's see. This needs something a little more. Let's see, what do I want to do? I wish I could find that plumper. I loved it. All right, so this is a little bit of a darker. This is another product that e.l.f. has. It's they call it a day to night lipstick. And on one end is a lighter lipstick. And at night, it goes into the night and it has a darker lipstick. I'm not loving that at all. I don't know why. Let me see. This is something I love. I get a lot of samples in my job, and this was, don't snooze on Wet n Wild. This was a little gloss I got, a Wet n Wild gloss, and I actually really liked it. I don't like a gloss. I like something that just makes your lips look a little less dead. So this is that little gloss. They're a couple of bucks. That's not so bad. Okay, so I never in my entire life have liked blush. What I have always liked is bronzer of varying colors. So I have a couple of different bronzers that I like. And I will show you what I have. Besides e.l.f., one of my favorite products is Milani. Black-owned beauty company. If you would like to support them, that would be awesome. So I have this wonderful bronzer. And then I have a highlighting palette of theirs that I love. So I'm going to just go in, and I like to, oh my goodness, I didn't expect to do that. That was not what I wanted to do. Let me see. We're going to have to blend that out. That's why I always tell people when you put your brush into the product, you need to always tap your brush upside down. Otherwise, it all goes on at once. That was horrifying. But this, I need to get a little color. So I'm going to go in, and I'm basically going to do, oh, that was one of the brushes that my daughter took. I had an e.l.f. brush, cheapest brush I ever bought. and it was called a Total Face Brush, and it was one of their brushes with the white base. If you buy them in the drugstore, they're literally a couple of dollars each. So that was the one that my daughter took. One of the ones that was like my favorite brush. So these are some of these are Echo Tools. Some of them are whatever Real Techniques. So, but none of them are as good as my my Elf all over face brush. I really miss it. So I'm trying to get a little bit more evenness with this. I'll just keep blending it. I know a lot of girls now do the highlighting. I do have a highlighting palette. Let me just switch a little bit to my Milani. This is more of a highlighting palette. I love these products that have a lot of different colors that you can sort of get a different, it makes your face look a little bit more human. So let me take this, go in where I'm a little dark, a little light, try and mix it up a little bit. And this red is really, I've really got to work on that. These are all things that I'm noticing now that I'm actually in front of a lighted mirror. So, okay. I'm definitely going to have to hit my nose a little bit, and I'm also noticing the bags under my eyes. Okay, so I'm back, and I'm not crazy about my makeup, and I have to figure out what I'm going to do about it. Part of it, I think, is that I haven't done my usual skincare treatment at all since I've been home. So we need to do some maintenance on my skin. In the meantime, going to work on my hair. A few months ago, my hair was down to here. And as part of that whole desire to get a different look going, I chopped it all off. I wasn't really doing anything to it when I was going to work. It's grown out a bit. So I thought, let me see what I can do. This is probably going to be a lot like the makeup situation where things have changed so much that part of doing this video has been this discovery that I need to make some changes. Anyway, let me see what I can do with my hair. I know I have to fix the color, but let me see what I can do with it now. So I bought this very cute little, this little thing at Absolute Beauty, which you might think I have shares in because I talk about them all the time. But they're just a great place to get, you know, affordable, cute things. I think this was like $10. And, oh, it smells like my hair is burning. It smells like my hair is burning. Again, I was so buttoned out for so many years. And I was a punk rocker for so many years. Now I'm trying to go somewhere in between. Most of the time, certainly in the last month since I've been home, well, let me just say in the last month since I've been home, I haven't done anything to my hair. You know, I want to get this kind of Billy Idol meets Helen Mirren look, or Billy Idol meets, what's her name, Dame Judi Dench. Kind of want a Judi Dench look. I want to mess around with the color a little bit. I want to get a little bit more of that blonde is the new gray look. Got to smooth it out, otherwise it just looks like I'm about to get electrocuted, which might be any. So I don't want to do too much to it because again, I just want to have that sort of like messy, punky, badass old lady look. So that's fine. I'm just going to go get some oil and throw it in there. Jeez. Let me see. Yeah, it's not so bad. A little dried out looking. Again, I haven't been doing my usual self-care maintenance. Not that I'm that crazy, but I usually put a little more effort into the pieces of my being. Just going to go get some oil and then we'll finish up the look. So my hair is super dry. I'm super dry. Skin, thirst. I'm going to have some iced tea. Anyway, I don't shampoo my hair hardly at all. You know, I get in the shower, I wash it, but I don't use shampoo. I mostly use just conditioner, which is like a thing. I can put so much conditioner and oil and leave-in treatments in my hair for weeks at a time, and it will literally just sop it up. So I use this argan oil just to try and make it look like human hair. Again, I'm going for that like punky, spiky look. I never get greasy hair, but I have to watch because I do have a couple of spots that are a little balding. And that's it. That's as good as it's going to get. Thank God for my glasses because they hide a multitude of sins. I could go ask Fred how I look right now and he would tell me I look amazing. I think he's full of shit, honestly. This is good. I'm happy with this look. I wouldn't be embarrassed to walk out like this. Definitely some things need updated, some makeup changes, some skincare needs to happen. But yeah, this is it. This is the basic look. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you watching. And I'm Paulina Brusca, and this is Pretty Funny Looking.